Is Ethereum overtaking Bitcoin? My guess is that you've clicked on this link because you're interested in learning to see if Ethereum can in fact surpass Bitcoin as the #1 cryptocurrency. And in this video, I'm going to explain exactly that, not as a financial advisor, simply as somebody that has been a crypto enthusiast and has been involved in the cryptocurrency world since 2014. So none of this to be taken as financial advice, but let's take a look at this just for example. So Bitcoin has reigned the #1 cryptocurrency since it's been in existence, and you can see that currently it has a market cap of $414 billion. Now, Ethereum, for the most part, has been number 2, and you can see it has a current market cap of $205 billion. So while they're not necessarily close, you can see that, Bitcoin has more than double the market cap of Ethereum. There obviously is some very important upgrades happening to Ethereum that could cause this flippening that we have a lot of people talking about. Now, obviously what I'm talking about is the ETH 2.0 merge, which has been probably the most highly anticipated event in all of crypto for quite some time at this point, and it's set to happen supposedly September 15th. We'll see if that actually happens on time or not. But with that being said, the 2.0 merge is all about Ethereum going from a proof of work blockchain to a proof of stake blockchain. And if you're not familiar with that, right, proof of work basically requires miners to set up energy intensive mining rigs to basically secure and validate transactions. On a proof of stake blockchain, essentially there's no need for these computers or the electrical usage. The way that you secure a network is by simply staking your cryptocurrency, and when you do that, you essentially validate the network and you secure the network. So one of the big benefits to this is obviously Ethereum is going to be like 99.99% less energy intensive. So this is definitely a narrative that is going to be attractive, especially to institutional investors that are worried about Bitcoin not being a green investment and the amount of electricity and output that Bitcoin requires. Well, with Ethereum coming up here shortly, it's going to require almost no energy in order to run the network, which is a really good thing, honestly. Now, arguably more important than just that narrative is the fact that Ethereum is not going to become structurally more secure because there are going to be more validators, but also economically, it's going to be a lot more sustainable. Now, currently right now, about 4.3% of the Ethereum supply is being pushed onto the market every single year. Now, once this transition happens, it'll go from like 4.3% per year in inflation down to like 0.22% inflation per year. And it's likely that this will actually be a negative number when you account into fact the gas fees that people use from the network. So what they're calling this is like the equivalent to a Bitcoin triple halving. As you know, with Bitcoin, every 4 years there's a halving where they cut the supply in half. And with Ethereum, they're cutting this supply down by like 90%, or the issuance down each year by like 90%. So this is the equivalent to like a Bitcoin triple halving. And if we pay attention to history, what's happened in history after a Bitcoin halving, generally see a run up in price maybe like 6 months later. So it doesn't mean that just as soon as this ETH 2.0 merge happens, we're going to see price catapult. Usually we've seen it happen slowly over time. But with that being said, ETH is going to be a more deflationary asset than Bitcoin even is. And not only on top of that, but Ethereum is a thriving ecosystem, which the majority of DeFi and the majority of NFTs also live on top of Ethereum. Whereas with Bitcoin, it's mostly just this narrative of a store of value narrative. And the last thing that I'll mention on this fact before getting into the prediction is the fact that when you have miners, a lot of the times miners are sellers, right? Because they're in a business, they're consuming and paying for electricity, they're paying for rigs, they're paying for a warehouse, and they have to sell some of their Bitcoin onto the market, which is not necessarily good for price. When you have a proof of stake network like Ethereum is going to be, people are simply staking their coins. So miners are generally sellers, whereas stakers are generally hodlers, right? They want to stake and they want to hold on to it because they're getting paid rewards each year. Now, currently, we don't know exactly what it's going to be, but there are a lot of people that are saying that the rewards could be 10 to 15% per year. So if you pair that, meaning that you get 10 to 15% per year for staking your Ethereum, plus it's a deflationary asset, this could be really, really explosive for the price of Ethereum. Now, I don't know if it's for sure going to be 10 to 15%. That's still to be determined. But if you look at this, we're still about half the size of Bitcoin. I do think that it is actually possible for Ethereum to flip Bitcoin. I don't know how soon this is going to happen, and I'm not going to try to time that. But Ethereum is a vibrant ecosystem with more transactions happening on its network than Bitcoin, and a percentage of all those transactions actually get burned. So I think that there's a very high probability that one day we do see Ethereum actually flipping Bitcoin, especially with this whole transition. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you think this is actually possible? And if so, in what time frame? Let me know in the comments below.